Welcome to the Toddcast, your weekly leadership nudge. My name is Todd Long, your host, and thank you again for listening today. This past weekend, we celebrated the 4th of July, 250 years of the United States of America. Our family tradition is to go out to our local park each year and watch the firework display. We show up early, we park our vehicles next to a grassy area, we set up the chairs, we bring a lot of food, we hang out as a family, there's activities to do around the area, and we just have a great time. When the fireworks go off, the music's playing in the background, and we always look forward to our favorite song, and it's by Lee Greenwood, God Bless the USA. Unfortunately, this year, they didn't play the song. We were disappointed. The reason why we were disappointed is because during the lyrics it says, I'll gladly stand up next to you, and as a family, we all stand up together and we sing really loudly. It's our family tradition. Then we sit back down until those lyrics come again, and we stand up together and sing those lyrics. I said it didn't show up during the fireworks display, but after we were all done, I saw some of our family members standing in a circle singing the song together. Gave me a little bit of joy. Our focus today is on freedom. This is a really important emotion of leading people. And I want to look at this word freedom, and I want to define it. I want to talk about what happens when we have too much freedom. And then I also want to look at, as leaders, how do we properly lead with this notion of freedom in our mind? And if you stick around long enough, there's a freedom quiz at the end. Let's make this happen. Welcome to the Toddcast, your weekly leadership nudge. Welcome to the Toddcast, great ideas you'll love. Here's the definition of freedom. It's the absence of necessity, coercion, or constraint in choice or action. I want to say that again. The absence of necessity, coercion, or constraint in choice or action. What images come to your mind when you hear that definition? Think about the weekend. When you've worked really, really hard throughout the week, and it gets that Friday afternoon, you're wrapping things up, and it's like, wow, I've finished this up. I'm free to do what I want. I think about getting out of school at the end of the year when I was a kid. It's like, school's done. It's summertime. I think about laughter. Laughing really hard brings me freedom. Or going on vacation. We've put the work aside. We're heading out on vacation. What's interesting, though, is we think about all those examples. It doesn't mean there's complete freedom. It just means we don't have those responsibilities or those requirements that constrained us in some particular way. But here's the problem with freedom. Freedom without internal or external leadership boundaries is destructive, disruptive, and unfocused. I want to say that again. Freedom without internal or external leadership boundaries is destructive, disruptive, and unfocused. There's this song that was written by the Soup Dragons. I didn't even know that was the name of the group that wrote the song, but you'll know this song. And the song says this, I'm free to do what I want any old time. 'Cause I'm free to do what I want any old time. And then the lyrics go on to say, I'm free to be who I choose. And then it progresses on to say, I'm free to get my booze. It's interesting, the progression of this song goes, I'm free to do what I want. I'm free to choose who I want to be. Then it's, I'm free to get booze, which booze in of themselves is not necessarily destructive, but too much of that can be destructive. It reminds me of Shakespeare's play Macbeth. If you know this play, you'll know the progression that the king goes through in this sense of destructive behaviors to himself, which is his demise. Too much freedom can easily lead to self-absorption and narcissistic behaviors. We can think about money. If we do not put constraints on our money and we do not put boundaries on our money, we'll spend too much and then our freedom is really taken away. Think about words. We can say, I have freedom to say what I want to say. Yes, and if we say every single thing that's on our mind in the inappropriate way or to the people that might be harmful to them, then it's destructive to ourselves and to the relationship. I'll give you another little example that shows up right now. It's working from home. Working from home is great. I work from home. If someone doesn't have the internal or external boundaries to work from home and have that freedom, it can be destructive or disruptive for that person. Those are some examples if freedom is taken too far. then what do we do? How do we properly lead ourselves and others when recognizing that freedom is important? There's a study that was done by DC and Ryan. The title of the article is The Support of Autonomy and the Control of Behavior. It was published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. And here's a statement from the article. This is about autonomy, which is about freedom to make choices. Autonomy is associated with more intrinsic motivation, greater interest, less pressure and tension, more creativity, more cognitive flexibility, better conceptual learning, a more positive emotional tone, higher self-esteem, more trust, greater persistence of behavior change, and better physical and psychological health. Those are pretty powerful words associated with the idea of autonomy or freedom to make choices. And yet, I just said, too much freedom can be destructive, disruptive, or unfocused. Then as leaders of ourselves and others, what do we need to consider? How do we give people freedom? How do we have freedom ourselves without being destructive? I'd offer up this thought: maturity. We have to assess the maturity of a person in relationship to the activity in which they are given freedom. The maturity assessment we have to focus on is the skills, knowledge, wisdom, morals, and character of the person who is given the freedom. If a person is given the freedom to use money at work, they're given a credit card, are they mature enough to handle that credit card? If a person is given a task at work, are they mature enough to handle that task? I recently heard a story of some young, immature workers that were given a task to do an evaluation and some research before a product was installed. I heard that they fabricated the results. They didn't do the work, which could have led to major problems for this company. Another example is oversight. Does a person have the maturity or knowledge or skills or morals or character to oversee others? I get also maturing is a process and it's a progression, and we have to give people sometimes freedom before they're 100% ready to test them out. And then as people grow into that freedom and that maturity, they can get more and more freedom to either spend, do a task, or oversee particular responsibilities. As leaders, we have to continually do that maturity assessment. It's not just a one-time thing, so it doesn't go too far and cause destruction for themselves or for others around them. Here's the try it out section. Identify someone you'd like to give more freedom in one area of responsibility. Then do that maturity assessment. Think about the person in terms of skills, knowledge, wisdom, morals, and character, and are they ready to take on that responsibility? And if they're ready, hand it off. Give them tools and the freedom to go run with it. If they're not quite ready, what can you do to help them prepare to take on that freedom and that autonomy and that responsibility to do that? There's your try it out section. Here is the quote of the week. This is from Peter Marshall. He was a chaplain of the U.S. Senate from 1947 to 49. At the age of 25, he was an immigrant from Scotland. Here's the quote. May freedom be seen not as the right to do what we please, but as the opportunity to do what is right. Thank you for listening to the Toddcast, your weekly leadership nudge. I hope you take this content, this idea of freedom, and wrestle with it a little bit more as you consider leading yourself and leading others. I pray that you would experience true freedom that is constrained in true wisdom. Again, thank you for listening. Have a great week. Bye-bye. Hey, if you stuck around, here's the freedom quiz. I have 5 questions for you. I'll give you the questions, and I'll give you the answers afterwards. First question, who wrote and performed the song Freebird? Second question, Mel Gibson, in this movie, yells, "Freedom!" Third question, who performed Free Fallin'? Fourth question, what is the title of Ed Sheeran's song about this topic? Fifth question, this comes from the Declaration of Independence. It reads this: we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and they are endowed by the Creator with certain inalienable rights. That among these there are 3 inalienable rights. What are those 3 inalienable rights? Here's the answers. Answer to question number 1 is Leonard Skinner. Answer to question number 2, Braveheart. Answer to question number 3, Tom Petty. Answer to question number 4, freedom. Pretty easy. And then finally, the answer to question number 5, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.